Welcome to biology class. Today we are going to begin with the new chapter, nervous system. And in this chapter, in today's class, I'm going to cover the topics coordination, functions of nervous system and neuron. Okay. So your nervous system, okay, it is the control center of human body. Why it is known as control center? Because everything which is happening inside a body, it's controlled by our nervous system. Okay, so it controls both voluntary and involuntary actions. Okay, so voluntary actions means those actions which are under our control, isn't it? We can, like the muscular actions that takes place, all right, like walking and moving your arms, it's all under your control, right? And involuntary actions are those actions which are not under our control, but it's happening inside a body, okay, like circulation of blood, beating of the heart, respiration. So all these, whether it's voluntary or involuntary, it is all controlled by nervous system. Okay, so that's why it is known as the control center of human body. All right, so let us begin with the two types of coordination first. Okay, so we have nervous coordination. Your nervous coordination is the coordination which is brought up by the nervous system. Okay, it consists of brain, spinal cord, nerves and the sense organs. Okay, so as I have mentioned, okay, your nervous system is through its receptors, okay, the nervous system keeps us in touch with our environment, both external environment as well as internal. Okay, and whatever you're thinking, you're memorizing, you're talking, right now you're listening to this class, isn't it? Nervous coordination, and whatever I'm explaining, you're listening to it. So it's all because your nervous system is controlling your organs. Okay, it is controlling your all the parts of the organs and whatever activity is going on inside our body. All right, so your mental activity, including thought, learning and memory, is all controlled by nervous system. Okay, so your nervous system consists of, you can see here in the diagram, okay, your nervous system consists of CNS, that is central nervous system, okay, and PNS, that is peripheral nervous system. You can see very well in this diagram what is central nervous system. Your central nervous system, it consists of brain and spinal cord. Okay, can you see the spinal cord? So brain and spinal cord makes the central nervous system. Okay, whereas the nerves that is there in your body, okay, it's spread all over your body, that is the nerves outside the central nervous system. Okay, so that's coming out here, okay, all these nerves, it is known as the peripheral nervous system. And your peripheral nervous system consists of cranial nerves and spinal nerves, which we are going to do later in this chapter. Okay, right now just have a look, this blue color, okay, this is the central nervous system and this pink color is the peripheral nervous system. Okay, alright, now let us come to the chemical coordination. Okay, you have to know the difference between nervous coordination and chemical coordination. These are the types of coordination which takes place in our body. Alright, so this coordination is brought through chemical messengers called hormones. Okay, so there is a system like nervous system, there is another system in your body which is known as endocrine system. So it secretes chemical messengers called hormones. All right, and these hormones, it plays a very important role. Okay, and different hormones have different functions. All right, so it is the hormone is like secreted directly into the blood by endocrine glands. There are so many endocrine glands in your body. Okay, like your adrenal gland, thyroid gland, pancreas. Okay, which you'll do in detail all these in higher class. All right. So right now just remember the endocrine system, okay, consists of glands which secretes hormones. Okay, and these hormones are chemical messengers. Okay, which is secreted directly into the blood and which goes to the target organ and perform its functions. Okay, and the lack of which causes many disorders. Okay, all right, so next we come to the functions of the nervous system. Okay, so by now I think you all know the functions of the nervous system, because I have given a brief explanation of what nervous system does in a body. Okay, so number one, keep us informed about the outside world through the 5 sense organs. You all know the 5 sense organs, isn't it? So it keeps us, you can see things, you can hear, isn't it? So you can taste. All these things are keeping you informed about the outside world. All right, next, enables us to remember, think and reason. Okay, so you memorize, you think and you reason. It's by your brain, isn't it? And its brain is a part of nervous system. Okay, so controls and harmonizes all voluntary muscular activities, example running or holding a book while reading. So these are voluntary actions which are under your control. Okay, you can hold a book while reading and you can keep it on the table when you want it, isn't it? So this is under your control, that's why it's known as voluntary actions, and these are controlled by nervous system. Next we have regulates involuntary activities such as breathing and beating of the heart without our thinking about them. So our heart is beating all the time, isn't it? When it stops beating means our body will stop functioning and the person will ultimately die. Alright, so without thinking, it's not under your control. You cannot control your heart. You cannot stop your heart from beating. You cannot stop the blood vessels from flowing of the blood. Okay, you cannot stop your lungs to perform the function of respiration. So all these are under the control of nervous system. Okay, so these are the functions of nervous system which you have to remember. Next we come to neuron. Now you know that your nervous system is made up of cells, isn't it? A whole body. Okay, each part of our body is made up of cells, isn't it? You have done chapter cell, so you know cell is the structural and functional unit of our life, isn't it? So similarly, neuron is also a cell, okay, which makes your nervous system. So that's why it's known as you can have a look at this diagram here. Okay, this is how neuron looks. I will explain this in detail. Okay, so neuron is the structural and functional unit of nervous system. Okay, like cell. Okay, it is a cell, isn't it? But it is the cell of only nervous system. So this is how neuron looks like. Okay, and it is the longest cell in our body. A neuron is a nerve cell made up of two main parts. Okay, so you have parts in the neuron, which is a main cell body. You can see a head-like structure here. This is the cell body, alright, which is known as cyton. Okay, cyton or cell body, and a long process called axon. Alright, so this is the axon. Okay, cyton and axon. And you have one more part which comes out. You can see your projections of the cyton, which is known as dendrites. Okay, so next we come to cyton or the cell body. Okay, so it contains a well-defined nucleus. You know nucleus, it is there, it is the most important part of the cell, okay, which initiates cell division, surrounded by granular cytoplasm, okay, like your cell. It has the cell organelles like other cells, only centrosome is absent. So remember, centrosome is absent in the nerve cell because nerve cells have lost the ability to divide. Alright, so it cannot divide further. That's why, because centrosome, you know, the function of this centrosome in the cell, it's like it helps in cell division. Alright, so here cell division is not required, so it is not present there in the neuron. So you can have a look at the diagram of a cell body of a neuron, okay, cyton. And you can see the parts here, nucleus and the cytoplasm. So centrosome is not present here, okay, remember that. So next we come to dendrites. So they are branched cytoplasmic projection of the cell body. They reach the finest part of the body and conduct nerve impulses to cyton. Okay, so as you saw the branches coming out from the cyton, okay, this is how it looks in the microscopic view. So they reach the finest part of the body and conduct nerve impulses to cyton. Okay, so these are the dendrites and it will conduct nerve impulses to the cyton. Okay, so next we have axon. It is a long process from the cell body. It varies in size from a few millimeters to even more than 1 meter in length. In most neurons, it is surrounded by a white insulating sheath called covering cells. So you have a sheath which covers the axon, which is known as myelin sheath. Okay, so this myelin sheath shows gaps. Okay, it is not, the whole axon is not covered by myelin sheath. The small gaps are there, which I am going to show you, okay, are known as nodes of Ranvier. Some axons may have side branches called collaterals. Alright, the end portion of the axon have swollen end-like bulbs. So here you see in the diagram everything, okay. So this is the myelin here. Can you see this myelin sheath is like there is a gap here, okay, like this, and this gap is known as node of Ranvier, which is not covered by myelin sheath. The rest of the axon is covered by myelin sheath. Alright, and you have this bulb-like structure, and so it's known as axon terminal. Okay, which is again connected to another like dendrite of another neuron. So this is how your one neuron is connected with the other. Okay, so now we come to the types of neurons. Okay, as you saw the neurons, so there are types of neurons. Like functionally, the neurons are divided into 3 types, okay, according to their functions. So let's do sensory neurons first. These carry impulses from the sense organs to the spinal cord and brain. So whatever you do with your sense organs, you see things, okay, and you recognize it. Okay, how do you do that? Because your eyes, from your eyes, okay, the sensory neurons pass the message to the brain. And your brain again will pass the message back and it will tell you what are you seeing, isn't it? So when you touch things also, you feel it, isn't it? Hot things, when you touch, you immediately remove your hand. So it's all done by sensory neurons, which passes the message to the brain. And your brain, okay, again from the brain you have this motor neurons. They carry impulses from the brain and spinal cord to the muscles and glands, and then your muscles and glands react to that situation. Okay, so I will show you how it works. So next we have association neurons. So these transmit impulse from one neuron to another. Okay, so they help in transmitting impulse, okay, from one neuron to another. So this is how they transmit. Just have a look at this. You can see here sensory neuron. Okay, so when this, you can see a small girl here who is touching a hot object, so she immediately removes her hand. Okay, so just have a look at this picture. Okay, you can see the sensory neurons. Can you see this impulse going? Okay, so when you touch a hot object, then what happens is you remove it. So this happens in fractions of seconds. You don't have to think like what should I do and how should I remove my hand. It happens automatically. How? Because your sensory neurons, it passes the message to the brain, okay, and in your brain again, then through the motor neuron, it tells the muscles or the glands, okay, informs the muscles or the glands, and your muscles or glands will react and they will like remove the hand from the hot object. Okay, so this is how it's done. There is a process here. It looks long, but it happens, this process happens in fractions of seconds. Otherwise, if this process would take a long time, then your hands would get burnt, isn't it? So This happens in fractions of second, and this is not only for touching hot object, this is for all your sense organs. Okay, whatever you see, you taste, you feel, it's all because of the sensory neurons and the motor neurons. Okay, so with this we complete this topic, okay, for today. And then like in the next class we will start with the brain. Okay, so that we will start with the central nervous system. So I hope you have understood the chapter properly. Okay, so if you have not understood anything, okay, anything that you find it complicated in this class, all right, you can just like ask me. You have my personal number, you can ask me and I will give you a proper explanation of whatever you have not understood. All right, so we will end here now. Okay, thank you.